Alright, let's do a moisture test here. So just like when you do a yield check, you can't just grab them from the headlands, and you can't just grab them all in a row. So we'll grab an ear, we'll walk, you know, maybe I'll jump over a couple of rows. We'll grab another ear, we'll walk. If you're too close to the headlands, obviously that gets more wind than, say, the inside of the field sometimes. And it's just not an accurate of what moisture it is. So you got to be fair and you got to kind of jump around in the field. This is just a rough check. I know it rained this morning, you know, so it gained back just a, you know, it does gain some. Not as bad as soybeans do, but it will gain some moisture from that rain we got. So let's go check the moisture. This is just the first ear I grabbed, and I didn't grab them in any particular order. I didn't like look for the bigger one. I honestly didn't. I just grabbed one, I just husked it, and I counted it. It's about 16 kernels around, and then it's about 41 or 42 kernels long. And you don't want to, well, it's maybe 40, call it 40. Some of these ones up on top, you know, I didn't count like the last two, but you could maybe even give away this row. You know, you're counting the usable kernels that are going to make it into the combine. So what I'll do here is I'll shell some by hand, I'll weigh it out and test it. You can see the dent in the end of the kernel. So some of us stuff that I've checked is black layered and others is not, so we're kind of right there. I lied. Found the moisture tester. You can see that about 3/4 of the ears that we brought up here were black layered. Most of them were had that black layer on the inside there. And moisture 22%. So that's crazy. We haven't even started. 22% moisture corn. So we'll when the weather lets us here after this week of all this rain, we'll probably be getting at it by early next week. Stay tuned. Well, obviously the bean head's on the combine now. You probably saw that, and I'm not sure if I split these videos up or I'm gonna put it all together. We'll see how long it gets to be. But this poly underneath here, see there's a metal plate and then a poly rivets to this. And what I noticed is, you see this arm. Where was the next one that was worn out? The arm. I missed one. The arm. They're all on the arms, and it probably has a lot to do with just the fact that it puts more pressure on the head there. So that's the ones we're replacing. The other things we're gonna have to do, this is like a rather new one. I must have hit a rock or something here and had to replace this in season. But you can see maybe the thickness compared to that one. I mean, there's life left in it, but it's not something we really want to mess with in season, because if it gets too thin, then the sickle will start wearing on this. So we'll see. You got to replace a few of these and then slide the sickle back in, and then we'll have the bean head ready. But what I thought I'd show you is that he's been busy this morning. Before I got here, I had to drop my work car off for some oil change. Look at that. How sharp does that look? That is, for those of you that are new to the channel, you'll remember last year, mid-season, because of a lot of the side hills and whatever the combine's been throughout its life before us, it's a good practice to inspect around your lug bolts. It was starting to crack on the rim, and it was going to take over a week to get a case one. And you can see that it's yellow. That's a John Deere rim. So get her back to case colors. The Mud Hog, we had not painted those yet either. That looks sharp, and looks like must have ran out of paint. We have to do this one. Get this one painted up quick. They're talking 2 inches of rain this afternoon. Excuse me. So that one just got mud on it, but that looks sharp. So we got the air reel all up, and actually that hose that I thought maybe needed to move, it looks pretty good now that it's hanging on the combine. So get a couple more shields to put back on, and we'll be waiting, especially with 22% corn, or you know, whenever the weather cooperates, we're gonna be moving.